Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Supercharge ServiceNow with Seamless AI and SharePoint Integration. I'm excited to be here with CJ Morton, our Solutions Consultant at DTech Apps, who will be leading today's demo later in the webinar. We'll start with a quick introduction, then dive into how you can enhance your ServiceNow environment by integrating Microsoft SharePoint and AI tools like Copilot, saving time, reducing costs, and improving document management. For those new to us, here's a brief background. We were invited by ServiceNow years ago to develop Tasker, an enterprise task management solution now widely used across federal agencies and around the world by some of the leading organizations in healthcare, manufacturing, and financial services. Tasker is a mission-critical application built on ServiceNow that helps teams document, delegate, and control tasks with precision. If you're curious about Tasker, we've got plenty of videos on our YouTube channel for you to learn more about it. Today, we are focusing on Doc Integrator, our solution for seamlessly connecting SharePoint with ServiceNow. Many organizations already use SharePoint as their system of record for documents, but integrating SharePoint with ServiceNow has traditionally required heavy development work. ServiceNow's native API set for integrating SharePoint is powerful but complex and incomplete. It requires developers to spend months to write custom code for each desired action, then test that code, deploy it, and provide ongoing maintenance every time ServiceNow or SharePoint goes through an upgrade or security update. That can lead to versioning issues, security risks, and costly developer overhead. We know many organizations who have gone down this path spent millions and only got limited functionality in return. For example, without a seamless integration, users may need to download, edit, and re-upload files, creating multiple versions of files and increasing the risk of exposing sensitive data like PII or other confidential documents. SharePoint, on the other hand, offers robust version control, supports large files, and maintains strict security protocols. That's why so many of our customers have asked for a simple, secure way to bridge these platforms. Doc Integrator does exactly that. It preserves SharePoint's integrity, lists, libraries, permissions, while enabling document routing and workflow automation directly within ServiceNow. CJ will show you how this works in just a moment. Since launching Doc Integrator, we've expanded its capabilities with features like Doc Flow for PDF forms automation and signature approvals, Doc Generator for dynamic document creation allowing for the population of files with data directly from ServiceNow, and built-in support for AI tools like Copilot, all without requiring custom development. This means faster deployment, lower costs, and fewer headaches when platforms update or developers move on. Bottom line, Doc Integrator is designed to be simple, affordable, and powerful, bringing ServiceNow, SharePoint, and AI together in one seamless experience. With that, I'll hand things over to CJ to walk us through the live demo. CJ, the floor is yours.
And thank you all for joining today. As David said, my name is CJ, and in this session, I'm going to be demonstrating how our document-centric application, Doc Integrator and DocFlow, extend the power of the ServiceNow platform to everyday users. So these tools address a core challenge that we frequently hear from customers, and that is the difficulty of managing documents, collaborating, and handling digital signatures within ServiceNow. So we're going to begin today's demo with showing Base Doc Integrator, which is our SharePoint integration layer, showing very briefly how it can plug and play into any ServiceNow application. And then we'll transition into DocFlow, which is our forms automation and document routing tool, and again, still part of our Doc Integrator suite. And then finally, we're going to show some very exciting functionality that we have with AI that will streamline the process of gathering relevant information and creating an executive summary in less than 5 clicks. So without further ado, let's get started. So again, Doc Integrator is our SharePoint integration layer for ServiceNow, and it solves that document access, collaboration, and digital workflows without leaving the platform. So we've often heard that, storing documents in ServiceNow is cumbersome. I mean, users have to download, edit locally, re-upload, delete the original file. We've heard that some customers can't upload large files easily into ServiceNow, as well as the lack of or the need for better collaboration tools. Well, with Doc Integrator, your documents live in SharePoint, although they appear and behave as if they're living in ServiceNow. And important to point out is that Doc Integrator at the ServiceNow SharePoint connection level, it can be plugged in and played anywhere and everywhere, including custom applications. And we are licensed by user and not application, which makes it flexible, scalable, and usable. So that's enough talking. Let's get into the demo. What you're looking at here is the ServiceNow's SPM application. In this case, let's just say I'm a project manager. Normally, you'd see these documents living at the top here as attachments, or you would receive them via email. Doc Integrator, you don't have to worry about that because the documents may appear as if they're living in ServiceNow, but they're all living in SharePoint. So I keep saying that, but where's the documents? Well, the documents reside in this tab right here, which is our Doc Integrator product. Within this very friendly user interface, you can see that we have 10 documents that are currently residing in SharePoint. And if I wanted to add an additional document, all I have to do is click this upload icon, select the file that I want to upload, and just click upload. And with that, this document is going to bypass ServiceNow completely and go directly into whatever site, library, and folder that this is configured to. So you're not having to search for the documents. And since these documents live in SharePoint, you get all those amazing features such as real-time co-editing, full version history of the documents, no longer a need to download and re-upload, which eliminates duplication of documents. You're always assured that you're working on the latest version of the document. You get that secure SharePoint and OneDrive storage, and you can even leverage Microsoft Copilot, which I will show you right now. So as I click into this document, you can see that Copilot right here is already hard at work, creating a summary of the contents of the document without me needing to click a single button. Now, since this document is a review of an automated payroll management system, let's just say as that project manager, I needed to know what are the main benefits of using this automated payroll management system as described in this document. However, I didn't want to navigate throughout this entire document to search for that information. Well, without needing to leave this page and go to another AI site like ChatGPT and then paste this document and then have to do it all over again for another question, I can simply leverage Microsoft Copilot from this single page by obviously clicking this Copilot button, typing in my question, which I happen to have already got copied, and you can see that Copilot is hard at work, and very quickly we get our answer back, and we can see what the main benefits of using this automated payroll management system is. Now, again, since this file lives in SharePoint, let's just say I needed to make a quick update. I can easily make those changes. I'm not Adam, I am CJ, so I can easily make those changes, close this file without having to save, and then if I reopen the file, scroll down, you can see that my changes were saved automatically upon closing this tab. Well, like I said previously, Doc Integrator can be plugged in and played in any ServiceNow application. So with that in mind, let's take a look at how someone from the HR side of the house would utilize our Doc Integrator product. What you're looking at here is obviously the ServiceNow HRSD application. In this case, I'm going to say I'm a part of HR. Not to sound like a broken record, but again, normally you'd see these documents living as attachments here on the record, or you would receive them via email. Just like how you saw from the SPM application, we've added this tab. If I scroll down, HR Documents, which is our Doc Integrator product. And again, all these documents that you see may appear as if they're living in ServiceNow, but they're all living in SharePoint. So you get those amazing features that we just went over, like real-time co-editing, full version history. You're always working on the latest version, that secure OneDrive and SharePoint storage. And again, as that HR agent, I can even leverage Microsoft Copilot from a single click. So let me go ahead and click onto the document. And as I click onto the document, just like before, you're going to see Copilot is already hard at work, creating a summary of the contents without me needing to click a single button. And since this is a hiring policy review document, as someone from HR, say I needed to know what responsibilities there are for managers and supervisors have during the hiring process. However, just like that project manager, I prefer not to navigate throughout this entire document to locate it. Well, look no further than this Copilot button at the top right. I can go ahead and, just like I did before, paste in my question. And again, without having to leave this interface and go to another AI tool, I was able to leverage Microsoft Copilot from a single click and very quickly get my answer back to what responsibilities there are for supervisors and managers during the hiring and induction process. Excuse me. Closing this document, another subtle but amazing feature that Doc Integrator offers is with digital signatures. So we've talked to organizations that use the DocuSigns of the world or Adobe Pros or Adobe Sign. Well, with Doc Integrator, you can use free existing tools such as free Adobe Reader to digitally sign documents, again, not having to pay for a digital signature solution of choice, as we know that some solutions charge per transaction or even per signature. Now, to open up this document using free Adobe Reader, is right click on the file that we'd like to sign, click open in desktop app. Again, this opens up the file does not open up the file or download the file locally. It opens up the file securely in your desktop application. And I can go ahead to where I need to sign and sign the document using your digital signature method of choice, which includes PIV or CAC. Save the file. Again, it's not saving locally, but it's saving through OneDrive back to SharePoint. Close the file and you're done. So when we come back to this familiar ServiceNow UI and open up this document, which you can see here, so it lives in SharePoint, never left it. You can see that our signature that I just applied, truly showing that we're always working on the most up-to-date version of a document. And again, since this document lives in SharePoint, you can obviously revert back to a previous version if needed. Now with that, I'm going to move on to the last piece for Base Doc Integrator. And that last piece for Base Doc Integrator is with a functionality that we refer to as federated search. So at no extra cost, Doc Integrator allows for real-time document search across various platforms. And to utilize this, you can either, from this document widget, you can click the search icon, or if you're a user who's familiar with searching for knowledge bases, you can simply navigate to the Employee Center portal, like I am now, or the Service portal. Search for what you're looking for. So for example, I'm going to search for policy. And very quickly, you're going to see all the relevant Outlook messages, knowledge bases, Teams chats, and even SharePoint documents, which is labeled as policy documents here, pertaining to that keyword that you just searched for. And in this case, it was policy. Now, just to note, these search results are filtered to show only what the current user is authorized to access. So you don't have to worry about seeing other people or other people seeing your emails, your Teams messages, etc. that they're not supposed to. So without further ado, we're going to move on to our DocFlow portion of the demo. And DocFlow, again, is our forms automation and document routing tool. And a lot of our customers says that it's especially powerful for internal forms, such as the SF-182, which is a certification of training form, or the AD-287-2 form, which is an award nomination. But DocFlow can be used to automate any standardized form. For this demonstration, I'm going to be walking you through how easy it is to route the AD-287-2 form. So here we go. Let's just say I was a manager who'd like to create an individual award request using that AD-287-2 form to Evan Howe, because I think he's doing such a great job. To initiate a doc flow that's going to keep the hassle away from tracking documents via email, as well as from having to download and upload your signed documents, I would simply navigate to the Employee Center portal, which I am right now, go to IT for IT, and then select the doc flow that's routed for the form you need, which in this case is that individual award AD-287-2. But before I continue, if I click show more a couple more times, I'm going to show you these were all forms that we were able to automate in just a short period of time. And this is also to show that there's no need for a separate application per form. You can have it all here in one standardized place, so you don't have to be looking for different forms. Now, to get back to the regular schedule programming, I'm going to select the individual award AD-287-2. And here you're brought to a configurable service catalog with configurable questions, depending on what information is needed for the form. So for this form, we need to know who the nominee is. Or in this case, it's going to be Evan. Are you the supervisor? I'm going to select yes, what the award amount is, and then finally just select the form. And once I click submit here, with that, the doc flow is officially kicked off. Now, as a user who does not live in ServiceNow, they're going to receive an email notification with a direct link to the doc flow assignment with instructions telling them exactly what they need to do. But as a user who lives in ServiceNow every day, I would simply navigate to my ServiceNow instance, open up the filter navigator, and then search for doc flow, and then select doc flow my assignments like any typical ServiceNow application or module. So where we're at here is doc flow my assignments. This is what we like to call your single pane of glass view for document routes. This page was designed both for users who reside in ServiceNow every day, as well as those executives who want to come in once a day and knock out their task. So on the left here, you're seeing the assignment lists. The center, you get the document preview, and then on the right, you get the instructions. Now, we all know that sometimes we're not the best at keeping track of who needs to do what or who the document needs to get routed to. Well, if I click this drop down right here, you can see exactly who the next person in line is per se, along with a quick view of the due dates and the statuses of the document route. You can also see that assignments can be assigned to both users or groups depending on your need. And then conveniently, we also integrate with Microsoft Teams. So we have a Teams icon from this drop-down list. So say I notice an issue with the form from looking at the document from the viewer. I can easily just click this Teams icon here and chat with the other members of my document route, uh, without having to search for them and find the people who I need to chat with. Now, before we actually talk about the signature portion, a very key note to point out here is that any field that's on this form that can be mapped to a ServiceNow field can be pulled and used to populate a form for a user. So that was basically a very long-winded way of saying that since Evan Howe is a registered user in ServiceNow, we were able to auto-populate the form with his information, which is saving us the hassle, the headaches, and the possibility of mistyping information. So I'll stop stalling and finally show you how easy it is to sign a document using doc flow. To sign this document, I simply select Open an App, which again uses our native desktop application and does not download the file locally. And what differentiates us from ServiceNow out of the box and our other competitors is that this file never leaves SharePoint. So you're not actually downloading the file locally. There's no need to re-upload the file. You're reducing the risk of duplication of documents. You're keeping your file secured in one location in the SharePoint ecosystem, as well as the wasted storage and expenses that ServiceNow charges for having a lot of documents reside in ServiceNow. So as I click on to open an app, you saw that an instructions windows popped up. So I know exactly where I need to go to actually sign this document. So let me go ahead and do so. I will go ahead, sign the document. Again, save the file, not saving locally, but saving through OneDrive back to SharePoint. Close the file, and then click Assignment Completed. And just like that, you'll see that that task disappeared from my list. The next assignee is going to receive a notification letting them know that they can start on their task. And then I can go ahead and continue on with my punch list, knowing exactly what left I need to do by looking at the remaining tasks on the left. So we're approaching the end of the demonstration. But before that, I would like to address one of the most frequently asked questions that we hear from customers. And then finally, like I said, we'll conclude the demo with our AI power feature that will significantly streamline the process of gathering relevant information and generating an executive summary in less than 5 clicks. So one of the most frequently asked questions that we get from customers is, can Doc Integrator be used for all SharePoint connection types, whether it's on-premise, hybrid, or cloud-based? And the easy answer to that is absolutely. We support all versions, including all the way back to on-prem 2013, hybrid, and cloud. So without further ado, let's dive right into the AI portion of the demo, or the second portion of the AI. As you know, AI is rapidly becoming indispensable for organizations aiming to elevate the way that they generate and deliver content. Our approach is not just about adding AI, but it's about offering you meaningful, practical tools for instant summaries, ensuring you're getting the most value on every click. So to show you guys that, I'm going to do a little story time and then show you a couple of different scenarios to really drive home the value of our feature. So the first scenario is the get me up to speed briefing for government contracts. Let's just say that a contracting officer had been newly assigned to oversee a critical ongoing project. They would need to be able to quickly understand the project's history, the status, and the potential risk without spending days reading through every document. Well, anyone with the Doc Integrator license will have the ability to do so with within our Doc Integrator widget without even needing to click on. So we love to say single, but in this case, it truly resembles that because you get all the amazing capabilities that I've already shown you with Doc Integrator. But if I wanted to know the scope, deliverables, etc., from this original contract document, all I would need to do is right-click on the file and then click Summarize. And then very quickly, we're going to get a summary of the document without even needing to click on it. I can then, if I wanted, download this summary, and instead of spending hours or if not days reading through each document, I can get the gist of it from less than 5 clicks. Now, this is very exciting, but that's not all, because let's say I'm all caught up on all my documents thanks to this handy summarize tool, and now I wanted to create an executive summary of all the documents. All I would need to do to accomplish this feat is click on whatever documents I want the AI to consider for the executive summary, select actions on selected row, and then click Get Executive Summary. So here you're going to see the AI begin to do its work. It's reading through each of the documents, using that information and creating our executive summary. In a few moments, just like the Summarize button, a window will pop up with your executive summary based on each of the documents that you selected with actual links to the reference documents as well. So if I scroll down here, you can see that this is our new executive summary that was generated from using our AI feature. I can go ahead and download this document. And if I open it up, you'll see that it is also formatted here in this Word style. And that that contracting officer, we just exponentially sped up his time to understand a complex contract, improving oversight, we're reducing risk, and ensuring continuity when personnel changes roles. So that was pretty cool, but that was for a contracting officer. Let's do something a little bit more general with our second scenario. And we like to call this scenario the CIO ready major incident report. Let's say a critical enterprise service like email or a core financial system, they experienced a major outage. The major incident manager needs to provide immediate high-level summary to the CIO and the other executives, but the incident record is just cluttered with technical logs, Teams chats, and user reports, just a bunch of noise that he doesn't care about. Well, again, in 4 clicks, we can save his world of troubles of having to manually evaluate each of these documents and provide a summary to his executive team. So the first of those clicks is going to be to select all the documents. The second click will be clicking actions on selected row. The third, get executive summary. And then finally, the fourth click will be to download the file. Again, right now you're seeing the AI begin to do its work. It's reading through each of the documents and using that information to create our executive summary. And once this AI finishes creating or generating that executive summary, that major incident manager will be able to confidently review and send over that AI generated executive summary to the CIO and the other executives, accelerating decision making, improving communication across the organization, which in turn is going to reduce that business impact of outages and demonstrate their command on the situation. So again, you'll see that the executive summary was generated. Here we have clickable links that will actually reference to the SharePoint documents that we used to create this executive summary. And again, we can go ahead and download this executive summary and distribute it out to other members of our team. So I can quickly wrap up this demo and open it up if there's any questions in the chat or anything that we want to go over a little bit further. What we saw in today's demonstration on how Doc Integrator and DocFlow extend the power of ServiceNow for document-centric workflows. With Doc Integrator, we were able to see how we can eliminate document friction, unlock real-time collaboration, and ensure that you're always working on the latest version of the document securely stored in SharePoint with also the ability to leverage Microsoft Copilot from a single screen. Then with DocFlow, we took it another step and we showed how easy it is to automate form routing and enable digital signatures right from the platform without ever needing to download and re-upload. And then finally, you were able to just see some exciting functionality that we have with Doc Integrator that we will provide with the ability to use AI to generate summaries and executive summaries in as little as 4 clicks. With that, I will pass it back to David to moderate the QA chat and see if there's any more questions that we have. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So I think we, based on one of the questions that came through, first of all, mention OneDrive. If you want to clarify a little more about the use of OneDrive in this integration, I think that would be helpful. Because the question was, do you have to use OneDrive or can it work with Box? I think first let's explain the use of OneDrive in the application here for syncing SharePoint.
I can do that.
Okay, thanks, Rob.
Yeah, sure thing, DC. So we're using SharePoint integration. Everything that you're seeing is SharePoint and not Box or Google Drive. So Microsoft out of the box on your desktop has built-in integration to SharePoint for OneDrive. So it's not OneDrive in the sense of us using a drive out in the cloud that is OneDrive. It's a integration capability that Microsoft has built for the desktop, where if you open a file in SharePoint, it actually pulls the file into a OneDrive folder that is related to the SharePoint site. So any saves automatically get pushed back into SharePoint. So that's and also the way it gets configured, especially in large enterprises and federal accounts, is that the file is locked and controlled at the desktop level and doesn't remain there depending on your policies. It can remain there or it can be removed as soon as the save is finished. So Microsoft supports settings that allow the enterprise to tightly manage what is out on the desktop. Hopefully that helps to answer the question, and we'll take further clarifying questions if you have them.
Cool, thanks, Rob. So again, we'll just continue on the SharePoint topic for a second here. Does Doc Integrator support nested folders in a given project? I want to explain the structure of how we set this up. So with folders.
Yeah, I can take that one too if you want.
Thanks.
DC.
Yeah,
Sure
that'd be
thing.
great.
Yeah, so we're not currently implementing a folder structure. Our current implementation is metadata based. So if you have folders, we're just going to pull the files that have the right metadata, regardless of any folders in SharePoint that you have. We are able to we allow you to configure properties in your list that can be used as folders. So you can configure a property and have a base level set of folders that are available through properties. We are in the very next release, we'll have facets. So you'll be able to look at lists of documents if you've got many of them, and be able to see last updated date type of filtering and people filtering, as well as any other metadata that you associate with the document to do filtering and facets on. So that will allow you to have a more or less a folder based structure using metadata.
Thanks, Rob. One of the questions that came through, and I think this one, because it's specific to a ServiceNow application, will probably need to do something separate to address it. So looking for the use case of Doc Integrator in a strictly, in this case, ITSM context. So I'll dive into what we're showing here is sort of a very general overview. If we were to take this and apply this strictly into a ServiceNow application, like an ITSM, if you've already got content stored in SharePoint, first and foremost, and you're bringing in ServiceNow, you don't have to migrate any files from one platform to another. So that's the first thing. Second of all, regarding Copilot integration into an application like ITSM. So with Copilot, you can write any prompt language or whatever. So we showed an example of summary, which is a very sort of standard way of showcasing this. But if we were going to have it generate reports or do other analysis based off of the content you got, we can build that out for that application. So the cool thing is with AI, there's sort of an open or a limitless possibilities of what we could do with it. So whether your application's HRSD, ITSM, anything, you build out Copilot or whatever AI tool you're going to use. You build out your prompts as it relates to that, as it relates to what it is that you want to get done faster. So it really is open to the imagination, and based on what prompts that we can help you build to address that. So I don't know if you want to chime in a little more, Rob, and add more flavor to that.
Yeah, this is another place that we're expanding right now, and I don't want to say too much, but right now we're doing summaries. We'll definitely be supporting an ability for people to put different profiles in, as well as different prompts, and associate those with the application. So the way Doc Integrator works, it's a capability that drops in and then associates with ServiceNow through a ServiceNow record. So whatever the ServiceNow record is, these files are associated with that ServiceNow record. And so what we'll continue to expand on with AI, instead of just giving you summary, each record type will have the ability for you to add profiles and prompts that you want to do against documents, SharePoint for that record, to get insights that live outside of ServiceNow back into ServiceNow.
Perfect. Thanks, Rob. Those are some of the questions on one of the other queues. So for those of you, if you are a DTech Apps customer today and you have Doc Integrator, much of what we've shown today is available in the latest edition. So we just need to get you, if you haven't been updated, we just need to work with you on getting updates. And that's the great thing about once you own Doc Integrator, subscribe to it, we will get you updates as they release. And so any new functionality as we continue to release new features and capabilities within the platform, you get access to that. So it's the great benefit of buying commercial off-the-shelf software versus having a developer do it for you. We do all the maintenance. ServiceNow comes up with a new edition. You're going to move from Yokohama to Zurich, so on and so forth. We're already building out the Doc Integrator to support the next version of SharePoint, the next version of ServiceNow. If you're moving from on-premise to the cloud, our product actually, versus the development spoke, our product supports those who are still using on-premise SharePoint. And for those who are in the cloud, it one product works with any platform, or any sort of hybrid environment. So we have that great advantage. And again, it's compared to what many organizations are paying for ServiceNow. This is a very small cost in some cases, because we can get it up so quickly, because we can get it working in your environment so fast. It's cheaper than having someone develop or try to custom code something that's not even going to give you all the capabilities that we're going to give you out of the box. So with that concludes today's presentation. I thank everybody for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to the gentleman whose phone numbers and email addresses you see on the screen. And you can expect to get a copy of today's event in your inbox in the next 24 hours. Thanks again, CJ. Thanks, Rob. And thank you all for joining.